Hey guys, it's Phil from Cleveland Moto. I got a treat especial, as our friend would say. This is a 2012 Kawasaki Ninja ZX14R. You're going to notice the exhaust, giant exhaust from the factory, have been magically reduced into something absolutely minuscule from the folks at Kaufman's Exhaust Systems, made in America. So this is a new to me, fresh trade here at Cleveland Moto, and this is one of those things that, well, we're going to have a little chat. So we're going to take a ride. We'll just have a little talk about what this is all about. This is one of those motorcycles that when this thing came out, its big deal was that it was kind of it was out to slay the Hayabusa. It was kind of meant to be the Hayabusa killer. And they, you can watch all these videos where we've got one of the world's greatest motorcycle drag racers takes this thing out and does a whole bunch of 9-second quarter miles and all kinds of cool stuff. And I think they might even had in the video, they might even had this bike creeping up on and passing a Hayabusa. So there we go. This bike has 7,606 miles on it. Brought in by a very, I'm just going to say it as nice as I possibly can, brought in by an older gentleman, and kind of a strange thing, Now, sure, this bike's a 2012, so 9 years old. An older gentleman brings a bike in like this, and you got to think to yourself, bought the bike new in 2012, knowing full well that, its claim to fame was an advertised 207 horsepower, and that translated to an actual tested like 197 at the back tire. And so a bike with no shortage of beans, and a little tiny Kaufman exhaust sound, kind of fun. Probably wouldn't want to have a neighbor with one of these. And so what inspires a guy who's in his mid-60s, I suppose, at that point, to run out and buy what was heralded at the time as something around $17,000 worth of motorcycle. And I mean, this is a lot of motorcycle by any standards. 186 mile an hour top speed is part of what they call the gentleman's agreement. Hayabusa, of course, and all the other big boys that can do such things sort of agreed to set those computers to max out at 186 miles an hour. Keep everybody sane and safe, which is kind of hilarious. So a little bit about motorcycle. Of course, this is 2012. Now, 11 and 12, there was a change. So in 2012, the motorcycle got a longer swing arm, a little bit longer. They lightened the wheels up. They made the wheels 3 pounds lighter each wheel. And they also pumped up the horsepower a little bit. So something like 8 or 10 horsepower more in 2012 than 2011. You could get the bike in the blue that you see here. I think they called it like surf blue or something like that. And then it also came in black. And then for an extra $200 upcharge, you could get the Kawasaki green with ghost flames. Hey, I love Kawasaki green bikes, I really do. But even though I have flames on my Harley Davidson Springer, I don't really like flames on sport bikes. It's just me. But anyway, so back to the bike. Interesting things about the bike. You're going to notice there's a power mode, and that power mode is selectable, and you can just literally hit it while in flight, and you can choose to have full power or reduced power. And how that works is full power is obvious, but when you get to reduced power, what that does is anything above 6,500 RPM, it reduces the power to make the bike, less likely to kill you. So that's a bit of an interesting thing. And then the traction control is where it says KTRC, and that has varying degrees of traction control between 1 and 3, all changeable by the little button on my left hand.
Nothing high-tech, like nothing really hard to do. It's not one of those bikes that you need 14 different button presses to command and alter your ride experience. Yeah, there's a lot of power hiding in there. Like we said, over 190 horsepower measured at the rear wheel. This being a 2012, I don't really feel like in 7,600 miles any of those ponies has escaped. Oh, look at the little sad Toyota RAV over there with the flat right front tire. Soft top on the back and the push-up roof. It's kind of a neat little red car. Very much a little fun command vehicle. So, other things about the bike that are really interesting. Obviously, the brakes of God are all there. ABS, the traction control system we talked about. It's really not a lot of fanciness. It was pretty much meant to do dragway work. It was pretty much meant to just go out and give Hayabusas a hard time. Now, I myself have never owned a Hayabusa. We've done work on a bunch of them. Never actually owned one myself. And had the BMW K1200. Very fast bike. Not as fast as this one. Very steady, very smooth. Didn't even feel like I needed to get into sixth gear for that 100 miles an hour. Now we're finally in sixth. So 100 miles an hour is 5.5K on the tack. Sixth gear roll on to 120 is virtually nothing to talk about. Just an incredible amount of power in this motorcycle. The windshield, I've got this GV quick disconnect tank bag on there that keeps me from getting down on the bike. So I'm up in the dirty wind. No fun at all, but for going out first ride on the machine, really kind of a nice bike. The riding position is not anything that would resemble a touring bike. It is definitely a sport machine, and it feels good. I'm 6'1", I'm 210 pounds, and I'm absolutely not crowded on this bike at all. Very, very nice, very comfortable ride. Almost no weight on your hands at all. Just a cool machine. So we'll pull off in here, and I'll tell you guys a little story about how this bike came into my life today. As any of you guys who pay attention to my world will know, we sell a lot of motorcycles and a lot of scooters at our shop, but we do sell a lot more scooters than we sell motorcycles. And we've been selling Kymco motor scooters since about 2001, 2002. So we've had the product a good long time, and we feel very confident selling those Kymco bikes. Okay, so a brand new Kymco. That's a Kymco 300cc. It's called the Kymco X-Town, or Crosstown if you're nasty. Well, that Kymco X-Town 300, that bike is about $48.99 MSRP with shipping and assembly, etc. You're pretty much right at $5,600 for that bike. Then you got to add your county tax on there, which in our county is 8%. So, yeah, I could understand if somebody told you that to put a Kymco X-Town 300 in your driveway, you were going to be on the fair side of $6,000. I wouldn't be surprised at all. That seems like fair poker. A gentleman came into the shop today and explained that he was tired of wrangling around a 600-pound motorcycle and that he was ready to enter the world of scooterdom. Now, he did say that he had a Bergman 400 and that he liked it quite well, but you know, those brand new are a little bit more money. I think they may have even discontinued them this year. I'm not sure. You can check me on that. But anyway, he was stabbing around my shop, and he did eventually let on that he did want to have this motorcycle out of his life. And I can understand that. So he looked around at all of our different bikes. He looked at the AK550, which is about 10 grand. He looked at the BV350, which is about 8.5 grand. And he settled in and he offered me a straight across trade. Yeah, that's right. A straight across trade for a 2020 or 2021 300cc Kymco X-Town 300 for the motorcycle I'm sitting on right now. It's Kawasaki Ninja 1400R. I gotta say, I'm going to say on its very best day, that Kymco Exciting 300 is probably in the ballpark of 24 horsepower. And to make a straight across trade of 24 horsepower for 197 horsepower is just the craziest deal I've ever done when it comes down to sheer horsepower. Obviously, in top speed, the Kymco's top speed is probably about 85, and this is clearly 100 miles per hour faster. It is really an interesting thing, and that happened today. And I thought that was enough to justify making this little video and kind of letting you guys know about a motorcycle I've never owned before. A hell of a motorcycle at that. And the trade that happened for a Kymco X-Town 300. Man, if that doesn't get you going, I just don't know what will. So, some days you eat the bar, someday the bar eats you. Today I got a pretty good portion of bear. You guys, ride fast, take chances, check back to the channel all the time. I'll give you updates when I feel the need. Really do enjoy taking the opportunity to share these things with you, and just can't get enough of it.